So today I'm making some protein powder based ice cream at home in my new Cuisinart Freeze Wand ice cream maker, which will be linked somewhere in below for if you wanted to pick this up. I purposely picked this one, because of the cost. It was very cost effective, and two, it's smaller than some of the other devices you can get, and I just don't have the space for it in my house. It's tiny to keep buying big things, so I went with this one and I'm very optimistic. Now I'm making specifically protein powder based ice cream or desserts, because I'm trying to keep my protein levels up, and these ones I always pick as well are generally the low sugar, low carb, keto friendly ish ones. So I wanted to make some nice desserts for myself using the protein powders which I've got, which are numerous. And the thing with protein powder based ice cream is that when it comes out, no matter what device you use, it comes out icy, glassy, and that's not a bad thing. If you want like a more of a sorbet thing, you need to put in there something else to make it creamy, and one of the things that's recommended heavily is pudding mix, which I know is much more available in the US than it is in the UK, but for my experiment I'm using our version of a pudding mix, which is called Angel Delight, which is kind of like a strawberry thick creamy whipped pudding when you make it up. So I am basically taking 200 milliliters of water and adding whatever serving size of my protein powders it tells me to, and a teaspoon, which is about 5 grams of this, just to see if it gives it that emulsified creamy texture, so I can move away from that glass one. I still suspect my 5 grams is not going to be enough. This is my first experiment using it, so let's see. It is only a small measurement, which is good because I would eat all of it if it was one big pot. So I've got one here which is just a regular strawberry low carb one that I picked up along the way, sample with the 5 grams of that in it. Then I've got a raspberry ripple one, which is one of my favourite protein powders. It does taste like melted raspberry ripple ice cream. It is delicious, like a really nice raspberry vanilla. And then I've got my clear whey, which is more like a juice, and it's the watermelon flavour, again with 5 grams of the protein powder in there. All been blended up in just a hand shaker. I've not got my Ninja out for this one, and I'm going to put them in there, and I'm going to put the lids on, pop them in the freezer. I can't remember which one. I'm sure I'll be able to work out by the flavour which one's which. I pop them in the freezer, let them freeze for 24 hours. Come out tomorrow, put this thing together and give them a blitz, and let's see how they look, the texture, what they taste like, see how they come out. I'm very excited. So I will see you guys tomorrow with the final outcome. So it's the next day. I've got all my frozen desserts. I've had them out for about 5 to 10 minutes as per the instructions, just to soften slightly. I think that one's my watermelon. I think that's the strawberry. I think that's the raspberry. I'll soon find out. Now the instructions say, I've not done this before, to put the unit on and on here first, the base on first, and then once that's on and locked in, to put the top on. Let me just quickly do that. So that one appears locked in, and then you put the unit on top and then I need to select which one I want. Now the booklet says ice cream sorbet mix-ins, milkshake or slushy. Let's just go with number 1 on ice cream. So we stick with number 1. There's my dialy fella, but we'll stick it in number 1. And it says to press and hold. Now the red light's come on. I've just done a whiz. It took about a minute, and now I need to pull it back to retract it. Here they are. This one's a watermelon, which I thought was going to be the worst, but it's really nice. I thought it was going to be much glassier than that because it was like the protein drink juice rather than the actual protein powder. This is the raspberry. That's pretty good. The strawberry one's a bit mild though, but that was just like a generic free sample of protein powder that I had that I was just going to use up. So what I think I'm going to do, I'm going to use the mixing option and put in some of these guys, some flavourants. I've got a cherry there and I've got a pina colada. So I might just put some mix-ins in there. Maybe the pina colada in with the watermelon and the cherry in with the one that's a little bit, the flavour's light. It's not the texture, it's the flavour. But for, by the way, that zhuzhin, it took about 1.5 minutes for each pot. I'm going to give them another go to make them get maybe a bit softer. Put some mix-ins in to increase the flavour of those two. And yeah, put them back in the freezer and have them tomorrow and the next day. But that's wicked. And I gave it a second churn with the mixing option, and it's come out much fluffier, much closer to being sorbet-y ice cream. And I've obviously had to taste them all. They're very good. So I've added in for some mix-ins my cherry and my pineapple. Pineapple one in that one, cherry one in that one, and very good. Now it's had the second mix. It's made a big difference to the texture. So I'm chuffed to bits. I'm going to have a lovely summer of ice cream. Really impressed with that guy. And yeah, thank you so much for watching. I hope that's been helpful to you. I'm going to scoff some ice cream, put it all away, and I'll see you in the next one.